Alright, I think I'm all set. Let's make sure. Yep, looks like everything's functional. Okay. Howdy, chat. Good to see you guys. Do you have a picture of the invisible scarab that has Earthshaker Ash War? I do not, and I've been thinking about whether or not I should be getting shots of the invisible scarabs. So I've done that with, I did that with the Karian one, but I thought that might be a special case because the one that, you know, leaves the prints. This one I don't think does that. I'm pretty sure it's just the scarab. Is it even alive on this scarab? God, I don't even hear it. Oh no. By the way, having lots of fun with the HR version of low rank final bosses. He's pretty tough. Ooh, that's always good to hear. Highlanders, Hora hit the blunt. They're Highlanders! Very, very high. Oh! Nah, you can't even tell. That's the problem. Like, it's this little dust thing. You can't even see it, you know? Yeah. It's unique because it's super slow and has dust particles. And that's cool and all, but like, it's not a good reference image because most people are going to look at that and be like, what the hell am I looking at? Why are we getting a random shot of the highway? You know? That's the problem. I think I have shots of this, so I don't think I need to grab that. Has the illusion of burrowing underground? Yeah, for sure. Hey, Nobre! How you doing? I chose this character because I figured I might want to get shots without having to worry about any of the burning particles and stuff, but now I'm not so sure. Slow it down, see if it looks better. Maybe. Go back. First, though, let us reset this and put it to daytime so we don't have to worry about any weird lighting. See, the game I play suggests the Peak Fly Night. Yeah, I did. It did immediately grab me, Nobre. I'll give it a second look, but I'm not sure about that one. Did not immediately grab me. We'll go to normal speed now. Let's just see if it looks better, you know, regardless of fog. Okay, there it is. Now... No. Yeah, that's gonna get lost. Like, your eyes are drawn to everywhere except these little particle things. It just does not work. If it was like a GIF or something, sure. But that's about it. Yeah, unfortunate. Unfortunate. Well, at least I got Farm Colonists done, though, chat, so that's good. Next is Highlander, so we'll be taking out a paragraph from Erdtree's Beginning in order to add 4 pages to a new page, because, you know, that's how it works. Now, granted, to be fair, some of it is stuff from Altus Unification War, and Altus Unification War is going to get redone, right? Like, I'm going to move some of the America lore from Altus Unification War to Erdtree's Beginning, because, well, duh, America's background is now going to be key to talk about the Erdtree's Beginning. And then... yeah, I've also rewritten a bit of the actual Altus Unification stuff in order to kind of, like, again, just, you know, update it so now smooth, you know, it flows more naturally with the new information we've got about the Highlanders and stuff. Because now there's a lot more on, like, why Godfrey and Marika are a thing. Like, what's Godfrey gonna get out of this? Like, there's a... but like, before it was like, okay, well, he gets to fight strong stuff, like Sarash or whatever. But now it's like, okay, there's new context to that, right? With what we know about them and hunting great large animals, right? Which also puts the whole accepting the duel against the Storm King into perspective. Is like, oh yeah, of course Godfrey is all about being like, oh, you want to duel me, decide who wins this battle, big ferocious beast? Yeah, you're on. What is cosmology? Never. I love that it has a bunch of Demon Souls and Dark Souls references, pretty small too. Oh, really? That's cool. Wait for you to finish Inscription, put back some other recommendations. Yeah. I mean, Covenant and Leely's probably gonna take us for a while. I actually learned recently from a friend that apparently this story update's really big. Like, between all the branches and stuff, it's like 10 hours or something. So it's like, holy hell. Like, I'm probably very close to finishing probably the one we were on. Like, I'd give it another hour or two, maybe 3. But yeah, so I don't know how many streams it's gonna take to get through that. So it's probably gonna be a while before we get back to Inscription. Though I enjoy it immensely, so I'm looking forward to continuing. Yeah, nothing here I'm seeing. Over here. I don't think so. Yeah, there's nothing here for barbarian stuff. Of course I missed the god. Oh my goodness, why am I like this? Alright. Alright, but yeah, Farm Colonist is all wrapped up, which was... Honestly, that was the one that was going to be the most annoying for me. Because, like, a lot of the core content stayed the same, but there's a lot of little things that had to get removed, or added, or changed around, or something like that. So that was the one I had to be most careful about. Now, though, it's just a matter of adding the America stuff. I'll be honest, I completely forgot these guys exist. That works. Just so I have a reference on where the hell I got that shot. Anyway, so with that all handled, now I have a proper article that's before Caria that covers all that, and then we'll have Highlanders, which will probably go before Farm Colonists, and then it's just a matter of figuring out, okay, how much do I want to save for any future analysis of the Horn Scent and Bellarat and all that, and like how much do I want to talk about America's stuff with the Horn Scent in the update to Erdtree's beginning. Oh, really? Wow, I thought I was doing pretty okay. I forget Demi humans exist too. Well, it's just like I usually think of them as the enemies that's like, okay, about here-ish? Like when you get to actual Lux Ruins, you actually see them. Not like when you're like by the cart thing. And I don't think there's any transforming into bushes here, right? Actually, I've never thought about it. How common is that? Yeah, I still... String. Golden Runes. Yeah, still nothing really to connect to this place except, this is for the Ash of War? Jeez, I wonder why! They placed this next to this convenient window for the road up to Wyndham. Man, it's a wonder, chat. The world will never know. I'm not seeing anything else to grab. Yeah, I still don't see anything to connect this to barbarians, because I'm trying to look at it and trying to think, okay, could there be something, like, can I find any evidence of any settlement, right? That could be connected to the Highlanders and stuff. And the only candidates that really exist are potentially Wraithblood Ruins or Lux. And no, Lux is very firmly connected to the Sorcerers, and the location very firmly, makes that clear about why they would... There's that Sorcerer connection there. And then Wraithblood Ruins. Wraithblood Ruins is the big mystery to me. Oh, going too high still. Wraithblood Ruins is the big mystery to me, just because we made some good progress on, like, its more recent history, right? With the post-Blood stuff, right? So that I can now get behind as, like, just a general idea. Right. And it explains a lot of stuff. Like, honestly, these people may not have even necessarily been part of the Blood Cult. These might have just been regular Erdtree citizens who were getting, slaughtered on suspicion of being connected to the cult, because they were doing a lot of stuff with blood when they were actually probably connected to Miquella or something, right? That's... yeah, that's still towering over. But yeah, this is the only tower I'm like, I don't know if this has any pre-Erdtree history to it. Like, I can't... like, I'm like, maybe it's Dominula. That could still be the case, right? It could be kind of connected to Dominula culture. But if the rope bridge is a recent phenomenon... and that's the only thing I can conclude right now, because there's no reason it shouldn't be a stone bridge if it's always been here. Because if they go to all the trouble with making a stone bridge for that iniquity, they should have done the same here. The fact it's not raises red flags. Though again, I will always have questions about the choice to be like, okay, yeah, let's go through Wyndham, past what's its place, past the area where all the lava stuff would be dumping out, up to the Hermit Village, right? And then all the way to Homer Village, then we'll just make a cross across the two rocks that are conveniently, placed against each other, and then we'll be on the nice cliffside that then we'll climb down to get to the... That's definitely one of the parts where it's like, oh, this is starting to get a little video gamey, right? But very well, I will accept it. Blood Rose. Oh, should I consider that? Should I consider that connected? Should I consider that connected, or is it just kind of a reference to the fact that, hey, there's a lot of blood stuff on the other side? Maybe. It's the only instance of blood roses here, right? It's not like they're growing around. Maybe. Explosive Great Bolt, that requires local stuff, so that makes sense. And Golden Rune A, yeah, that's for plateau people. That's also not that bizarre. That's not a problem. It's not Highlander related though. I would have to double check Erdtree's beginning, because I don't remember if I talked about how the grass remains normal compared to on Altus proper, Even though the bushes and stuff remain, yellowy. Golden Vow, what a shocker. go to nighttime here. Whew. Yeah, it works. That works. There we go. Yep. And then over here... just the stone sword key. Anastasia just chilling. Yeah, she's just chilling. She wants us to go... wants to go sit down and play some Smash. And I told her, sorry. I'm too busy doing important lore work to play Smash with you. Maybe next time. Ay, ay. Oh. What are arteria leaves used to craft? Nothing I have right now, at least. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is perfumes. You use them in some perfumes. Golden Room 4. Yeah, he's just casual. That's the blood grease. Again, I do find it funny how this dog is doing totally okay, considering all the other carrion that have clearly not done okay. Like, dog is playing with fire. He does not care. Dog does not give a crap. Exalted Flesh, Uplifting Aromatic, and Blood Boil Aromatic. Gotcha. So, it's mostly... like, do we get Exalted Flesh from anywhere in Altus? I can't think of any example. Getting that freeze frame that looks real good. It's real hard. It's like he's stretching it with his jaws, like, I'm really chewing. I wonder if the stardust spoken by Ymir is the dust caused by the crashing of the Elden Ring star / beast. I don't remember his dialogue off the top of my head, but from what I do recall, I'm pretty sure he's just referring to stardust as in glintstone. Like, glintstone is stardust, and humans are stardust in the same way, because we are also, life that comes from a star. Though, obviously, we're come from Golden Star, right? Yeah, I believe... I can't remember Vati's. Maybe he's done a video on it already. But I remember Vati talking about it, and his idea was thinking that, like, we actually come from the stars proper. Like, you know, like, the same as the Glintstone or whatever. I was like, I don't think that's the case. Because I don't think that's the general idea. Granted, I guess you can kind of say that if you consider us descendants of Newman. Hey, Andy, welcome. I thought you connected Exalted Flesh with Barbarians or something. I did, but specifically, it's for Barbarians related to Horalu and the Badlands and all that stuff. Like, that's their item. Now, I don't recall if there's any example of Exalted Flesh in Highlander context. Maybe there has, and I'm forgetting it. Let me double check. Long March. We use royal fruit for the arteria for the spice. Why is this brave's lump of flesh afforded only to them? Because it invigorates the Highlanders. So confident are they in a straight fight. The Highland empowers the roars, the warriors to make them introduce themselves. Yeah, okay. There's nothing special here. At every fastland, Badlands society revolves around the warlord. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. Okay, so indeed, one of Radahn's armors has recorded the recipe for exalted flesh, possibly learned from just such a passing tarnished part. Yeah. So the only time we have it is that it gets connected to Radahn, but that's because we have evidence of the barbarians coming there, and it makes sense that they would want to, again, it's Radahn's armors, of course they would want to learn the recipe. So if that's the only thing we really have for lore connections, Arteria Leaves by themselves, I don't think really indicate much of anything other than someone who might have some connection to the Crucibles and stuff, which I've talked about previously, right? With the, whole, arteries, veins, the same thing that we see with the Crucible Knights, right? So you're just juxtaposing Glintstone with the origins of humans? As I recall, yes. So he uses the same term. So, I should clarify. When we're talking about star dust, the Japanese means more literally star debris. So the debris of stars. So so keep in mind, that's the connotation that Miyazaki is going with for what we're talking about when it comes to star dust, right? He's just talking about the idea that we are like, the cast-off little flakes or debris, like we're the little pieces and fragments of a star that have broken off from the main thing, right? Like that type of idea. What kind of village do you think Ariza lived in before Lingdell? Probably similar to Kaiden, and it was like, nomadic lifestyles, tents, that type of, primitive, tribe type, lifestyle. Your guy is so fast? Yeah, I'm playing at ×5 speed, Andy. I know some people theorize that Arteria Leaves come from warriors like the Calar Blooms. That's an interesting notion. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Arteria Leaves are the only base game item that grows in the DLC, right? Like, we see those, but we don't see other items, like, I don't know, like regular glintstone fly, flies, but, fireflies and stuff like that. Oh yeah, what do you think of the idea behind the weird-ass burning bodies? I have considered the possibility that they could be, like, powerful warriors or, quote-unquote heroes or something like that. Like, people who are, like, brave and strong or whatever, and, like, their power combined with their passion heats them up, and that's the idea behind them being embered. But that's as far as I got. That's the only like I haven't looked at it any deeper than that, because ultimately I have not found anything where I'm like, oh wow, there's this huge pattern with the burning bodies that is useful for lore analysis or whatever. Like, so far I haven't seen it add anything to the analysis. And because there are so many of these bodies interspersed or whatever throughout the game, it's one of those things where it's like, that's a lot of data for me to go down for something that may actually be completely irrelevant. No? Oh, are there other items that, are there other flowers and stuff that grow? Or am I misremembering and Arteria Leaves don't grow in the DLC either? Probably unripe Calar Blooms? The thing... Let me... I don't have Calar Blooms on this, do I? No, I don't. Yeah, there's... Wait, are we talking about the corpses, or are we talking about the Arteria Leaves now? Because Arteria Leaves, I think you need a corpse there for them to be Calar Blooms, right? And if it's not, And if it's just the burning bodies by themselves, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to believe there's that many bodies that we go through casually throughout this world that have just, you know, happen to eat a dragon heart. They don't grow? Okay, good to know. I could have swore there was, like, a patch of them that we found while we were running around Rao Base or something. So Market said, the Flame of Ambition, I guess. Yeah, it could, you know, something along those lines, I would say. Though, again, I don't think it's... I think Market's talking about something else, but again, it could be that, you know, that's a thematic concept that's happening here. Anyway, I'm not finding anything new here, or any new revelations that are really grabbing us. Then we got down here. None of these let me through. Magic Grease. I guess that kind of makes sense because we have the Sorcerer Tower right over there, right? That's not that unreasonable. You know what? Since I did talk about it, I might want to get this shot from the other character with the tower already appearing. Cherry Leaf talk with several. Okay, good to know. Nice go. All right, let's. I guess we should double check this graveyard, see if there's anything interesting. Yeah, Arteria leaves grow in, I think, every area. I think even Caelid, you have some of them growing, right? So. Okay, so that's a Corpse Before. So we've looted character on this, so clearly there wasn't anything notable enough for me to write down. But that doesn't say too much with me. Could have just forgotten. Oh, it's that time, huh? Yeah, man. You just... Guy just kind of is like, yep, I'm gonna come out of the red fog, but then look normal. I mean, it's not that unusual. I mean, we see it with Market and his, like, you know, little projection stuff he does, so that's not the craziest thing. But anything, I wish these guys would tell me how I could do that, so that way I don't have to always die against every boss. Just summon infinite projections. Okay, let's go up here. Golden Rune 10, that is... First to serve it with the most vigorous. Okay. There we go. Can we do that so it doesn't look like it's floating? God, that is so hard to do. This game does... Nah, that's as good as we're getting. There we go. Alright, let's see. We got our good old friends with the giant skulls. How do you know that's not what you're doing? I guess that's true, Xavier. Maybe I am. Maybe that is what we do. Yeah, this is the Oer. I gotta remember, it's not until you get to 6 that starts doing the thing. Yeah, these people are blessed. Or is it 7? Oh yeah, it starts at 6. Yeah, it's the first 2, normal. Then these becomes the kind of stronger, but it's basically filler lore. Then you get to 6, 7, and 8. And then you get to 9, 10, and 11, right? I think that's how it goes. I already have shots of the skeletons and stuff. We don't need any more shots of them. Yeah. We're good there. Alright. Everything else in this corner covered. It'll be good to include the rune thing. Because I really do need to start factoring in runes more. Like, my recent stuff, I've been including them in more and things like that, but we really do need to just make it a habit of, like, going over and including. What are the local, items and stuff? Where are they found specifically? And some of it might be just part of a general trend in a wider area. Like, I can see an argument for making the first one, just because it's like we're in the, we're at the capital, right? I need to start getting into that habit. Nothing over here. Not seeing anything here. Curious if it'd be easier to find these items at night since they have the white glow, or if they still don't stand out as easily. I'd imagine it'd have to be easier. Got the flowers. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, but I don't want to have to die jumping down. I guess we'll be taking the long way. These guys aren't getting shot. Hitting stone 5, what a shocker. Alright, so we got goldsmithing stone covered. Oh. I wonder if you can fight this guy in rain. I don't recall ever seeing rain when you're in this area. Really? Ooh. Alright, let's... I'm not seeing anything, and I'm sure anything I would grab around here would probably be more connected to death, probably, right? I think we got all the items I remember from here. Hey, buddy. Enjoy your little cult thing. Hey, here's a recommendation. Do a blood circle. Maybe have some nice music. Then the demons will come. Trust me, I know these siblings. They've done it a few times. They're pros at it. Easy satanic ritual. Yeah, nothing down here. Alright, so nothing really beyond what we already have. Uh-huh. Just dogs casually doing their dog thing. You still got the blood roses and the moats. Got the Godwin stuff. Guess I already looted this and didn't find anything notable. We got our gravity fans over there beneath the bridge. Again, I don't know if it was intentional, but I do find it funny how they have the room bear and the bears around the Ares and stuff. That will never not be funny to me. Whew. Oh, man. I had a very big meal, chat. It was very tasty. But man, I'm feeling lethargic, that's for sure. I do not usually gorge on my, for myself like that. Woo! Yep, there you are. Lol. I think we've covered this area pretty thoroughly, so nothing new stands out there. Just to note something in the Discord earlier today, if the foliage in the forest that the assassins right through the story trail might actually be green, would that mean it's not on Altus? Could be, could also just be, you know, when the trailer was made, they didn't have that idea, carried over or finalized, right? Like, there's always room for there to be, like, you know, potential for error, but at the very least, I think it would make a good basis to argue that it wasn't, right? The question then would be is, like, where would you do it to get that angle, right? Like, maybe you could argue somewhere through, I guess, East Liurnia, if you want to try to get something similar, right? Like, there's definitely questions to be had. As I said before, I think if it's supposed to be on Altus, the best candidate would be somewhere around the Shaded Woods area, right? But even that has its problems. Like, I don't think they had... If I had to guess whether it's Altus or not, I don't think they had a specific spot on the world map in mind. I think they were just going with a general vibe, which is that it's far enough away from the Erd Tree that would be in the background. It's obviously in the middle of the night, and it's going to have to show those guys running through. And they weren't trying to, like, you know, root it in a specific place. The same way that I think where Godwin dies isn't rooted in a specific place. Is that his room in his house? Yeah, sure, probably. Where is that in Langdell? Who knows? Maybe nowhere in the way the city's constructed. Maybe it's in the front half. Maybe it's in the front half we lost. But yeah, if it's green, I think there's at the very least a good case to be made that it's somewhere else, right? That or you'd have to argue that suddenly all of Altus decided to turn yellow after the Elden Ring got broken, I guess. If you hit this lady, she just disappears like a spirit, right? Huh. I'd have to wonder if it's all actually just the same lady and she just projects herself everywhere, you know? I'd still say no, because she has the same reaction every time she sees this, but it'd be super fun. God, what was that item down there? The scarab rolls? I completely forget. Yeah, no. This ain't Deathblight. Like, come on, Night Scout. We see Deathblight in a lot of different areas, and it doesn't cause this. Like, that's cope. I'm sorry, that's just cope. Yeah, the finger readers have barriers and teleport away. Like, oh wait, they have barriers? I recall it just being that they fade away when hit, like an illusory wall. Oh wow, wait, there's a formal exit here. Oh, I did not know that. Give me a sky look at this now. Now I have to look. Alright, so this is where it gets a little weird. So it looks like there might have been. This might have been like a courtyard type thing where you have the walls and then obviously it's a little, this is just them using assets, so I'm not going to blame them too hard, but there's this, you have the wall and then you have kind of this like archway thing going for it. Still more wall and stuff there. So it might have been kind of something like there was like a little archway exit thing. Yeah, sorry, Night Scout. You just sound like you're talking crazy. I'm sorry. I'm not going to humor you here. And this would be another... Actually... Oh yeah, this is technically... This is technically not like the typical entrance thing you have here. Even though this is obviously where the main road and stuff, you know, this is supposed to be the main entrance, so... Huh! Yeah, and they accomplish this through clipping here, too. So, I guess it's not too crazy, then. Make an argument that, well, you can't really make it as strong here, but you could make an argument there should be more stonework here. And then... So... Interesting. Then you have this, which is doing something similar. This, right? Alright. I should probably change the... Ah, damn. Forgot to freeze the camera. There you go. I mean, I'm not going to be talking about Melina or Glowmite Queen or anything soon, but this is at least worth getting the shot so I don't forget this. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm going to forget this anyway. Then we have this. I'm gonna hate this because I know it's gonna look shitty no matter how I handle this. So this will be fun. Yeah, this is gonna be a treat. I guess. Yeah. It's all gross. It's all gross, guys. It's all gross. Here we go, just multiple shots, and I'll see which one looks the less shit in the future. It's always a future Loki problem. Oh, or would you mention America using pots the Hornsent use? Or at least, you know, using similar concept as them? I don't know, that could end up in Erdtree's beginning. When talking about Erdtree Burial, because that's what I want to do. Like, I cut out Erdtree Burial, like, overview from Erdtree's beginning. I thought it was just so much work for something I didn't think would be that important to describe at the time, and then I would, like, figure out if I was going to do it something separate or mention it somewhere else later or what have you, right? But now that we have so much information coming out of Erdtree's beginning as a thesis, there's more than enough space for me to cover it now as part of the explanation on the Erdtree roots and all that stuff, right? Like, I can just expand my talk on Erdtree's on the Erdtree Burial, how the, you know, the imps being used, the burial watchdogs. Like, I can do a full coverage on all that, and I can include the pots there probably. Now, when am I actually gonna do that? I don't know, because I still haven't actually penned that thing on Erdtree Burial, so I find this very interesting. Because they could have just made this the same as that and called it a day. The fact they kind of, you know, made it like this more closed thing shows they want at least some level of, like, you know, it's not really seclusion or primacy, but, you know, kind of a sort of like privacy to it almost, right? Like, this is the entrance that, like, you know, you put a door and you're not supposed to just casually go through, right? Versus these or whatever, it's like, yeah, you know, you're for whatever reason going through the side here, or you're coming through the front, of course. You know, you're you know, coming just right through here, right? But this is for, like, one person who wants to shuffle through here in particular, right? Which again makes sense. For the one whose fate is to be burned. I saw that! I saw those low poly statues just disappear. Yep. They just fade away and get replaced. It's on the way to the special grave, right? Yeah, that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Alright. So, let's see. That's been covered. That's been covered. Lux has been covered. Let's grab some grace points down here just for future reference. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers anything. I'm not finding anything else where I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm missing something, you know, crucial to include here. Most of the Godfrey Barbarian lore was left pretty subtle, all things considered. Now that we have the new Highlander lore to help fill out some of that stuff. Most of it is Realm of Shadow things. Yeah, here we go. There are some bodies here, I'm pretty sure. Like some demi-humans. I think? Oh, whatever. I'm in. Alright. I'm an idiot. Oh! There's, like... Okay, yeah. I'll have to be like, wait, there's none? Lightning-proof dried liver is an interesting... I guess the idea is, like, you know, picked it up from the area. Because, you know, all the soldiers and stuff. It's not that crazy. Woo! I don't know if we killed Lansax here yet. Well, there's the answer. There's the noble. What do you guys think the white particles rising from the earth are all about, you know? Think it's just like some dust or air type thing that they're going for, or... If Highlanders are on Shadow Altus, would that imply it was generally once part of Altus Plateau instead of a projected name? No, I think the name was definitely projected, but I would also say that I do think it was once attached to... it would be at a lower elevation, but I do think it was once attached to Altus Plateau proper. So, let me see if I can bring this up. I now know how to game the system, so we're going to do that. Where the hell is it? No, not the coffin. Not coffin. From... That's not from. Here we go, from... Right. Show pics. Stuff being picked up by the wind. Do you think it's just that? They're just... Because I don't remember it being visible like that in other areas, which is why I ask. So I'm like, is that like some sort of natural phenomenon I'm not familiar with? Which, of course, I'm not familiar with many. I would not expect to be. Yeah, this will be the first one, and then... What we want to do now is take this. There we go. Beautiful. That works. Alright. Alright, you guys can see that. Alright, so this should be the rough overlay, right? Roughly, again, you can try to make this a little larger, put this lower, whatever, but this should be roughly the idea. Somewhere between the two towers, sticking out there. I'm not expecting anything to be one-for-one accurate or anything, but this gives the rough approximation, right? You got the Coliseum aligned here with the tower here. Highlands time! Hey, I am. Oh yeah, this is still low poly. All that, right? So, Shadow Altus, right? So, about... Here is where the Erd Tree trunk is, and the same for the Shadow Tree trunk and stuff like that. So, about, like, somewhere in this area here, right? So that's all lined up there. So, Shadow Altus would be this stuff here. Right? Yeah. So all this here would be part of Shadow Altus. And you'd have Rao Base and Rao and stuff. So, again, was there more land that connected these bits once upon a time, right? And that's been lost? Or was there water always flowing through here? Were there, like, bridges or things? Like, all that, I do not know. I've said before, I've put forth the possibility that this bridge may have intersected to where Shadowkeep is now. Would have then crossed over to get us over here. And that all collapsed when this all became part of the Realm of Shadow. One, because it's an eyesore for them to have to, you know, include that. And two, because I'll be honest, I don't think they were thinking about it beyond the concept of okay, we have this place that goes into another dimension, so we'll break this bridge here. We'll leave the tower here. But in terms of, like, the connection bit, this would be about how it would be. Again, you could maybe take creative license and say that maybe they were, you know, this part would be more closely connected over here. But this should be roughly the idea, and there may have been some mountainous stuff, you know, that would have helped with any transition or whatever. But this should be the general idea we'd be going with. So yeah, I don't think Shadow Altus was known as Shadow Altus. Now, did it have any other formal name for it? I don't know. In the same way that I don't think that Gravesite Plains is like a formal name for Gravesite Plains or anything like that. Or Karo's Hidden Grave, right? I think these are mostly just for us as the players, the audience, what have you, right? Outside of maybe some characters having some dialogue about a place, like, say, Bellarat or something. I don't think it's supposed to be a diegetic name for some place. And then, what we know about this is that it's the name that was given after the army invaded. They called it Shadow Altus after the original Altus Plateau, which is very obvious because, you know, it's a plateau. It's where the Erdtree forces are basing themselves. It's at the base of the Shadow Tree versus the Erdtree. Makes sense. So that's where I would stand on this. Now, has it being in the realm of Shadow changed anything about the land or whatever? Since it's been cut off from the Erdtree or whatever? I don't know. Right? Again, Erdtree influence gets arbitrarily cut off here when we enter Liurnia, right? Maybe I should get the map for this place. No, that's Gelmir, isn't it? Yeah, map is for Gelmir. Right? I think so. Yeah, I guess so. I can't believe they just renamed native lands. Yeah, that has never happened in the history of ever. No conquering force has ever come in and just arbitrarily renamed the land that they've taken over. They always use the original name known to the native inhabitants. Especially when it has a name. For sure. Right? Yeah, but I think it's something as simple as just those were part of, you know, the general highlands or whatever. I don't think it was considered part of Altus Plateau. Ooh. The gold fireflies are typically minor Erdtree stuff. Again, they could just be trying to highlight. Well, I'll get a shot of you just so I have it. But I gotta remember this with the golden firefly in case it becomes notable. Whew! Anyway. Okay, no, it's just two of them. Does this place... Oh, I haven't been to this place yet. Okay, cool. Good, good, good. So I can do a test here next time. Yeah, someone was actually asking me on the Twitters, not using the new name, earlier about where I stand on the farm colonies in relation to, like, Shadowkeep and stuff. And yeah, I still don't, so far, don't see any reason to think that Shadowkeep was a farm colony that would later be taken over. I think the best case scenario for any farm colonist involvement would be when Mesmer comes in. He's bringing in with him the Stormveil penal colonist labor, and those, you know, banished knights and exile soldiers and people are probably heavily, you know, and I can't forget the hybrids, our good old Misbegotten, right? So they're all sort of involved probably in constructing that, with the soldiers and stuff. Same with Castellensis and what's it called, Fort of Reprimand. There's also the other fort, right? No, the other fort's basically connected to Ensis. It's basically Ensis Light. So yeah, I don't think Shadowkeep is like Secret Sun Capital or anything like that. I think Sun Capital, as As the description tells us, it doesn't exist anywhere, because Leyndell has basically plopped itself on top of it. It is gone, it is no more. And the last of its people, besides our Morn hero, seem to have died in the crusade, leaving our Morn hero well and truly alone. Anything special about this place that I've missed? No. I need to find a place to insert all the yellow flowers that grow here. Like, I gotta include that detail. So I do talk about yellow flowers every now and then, but I don't talk about them enough. Oh, that's an item on the floor. That's a perfume bottle, right? Budding cave moss. I should probably include a reference of that in the future, too. Could imply his clan. I mean, his clan was very obviously genocided. Basically, everyone was fought and killed and then given a burial. So, I mean, it's very clear the idea was that basically everyone was probably fought and killed. Like, maybe you can make a case that some of the women and children were spared or whatever, but it's obvious that any survivors either became penal colonists at Stormvale or were assimilated into the main, you know, the Oriza, right? They were basically like, okay, you're gonna become part of our new clan on Leyndell. That's closed. That's good. We'll have to keep that like that in the future, in case I want to get any shots. Hey, J Diddy! Welcome here. I'm gonna call you Jay, just to keep it simple, because I ain't calling you Daddy. That's it for the loose items, right? Okay. Yeah, but there's nothing... Okay, no, yeah. For a second, I thought that might have been, For a second, I thought that might have been, like, a weather thing, where I'm like, oh, I didn't know they do this in the rain, but no, they don't. I also have to talk about how there's Altus blooms everywhere here growing as well. These flowers are also placed along Southern Road to Altus. Yeah, the secondary highway area. They are 100% placed there. Which is funny, because they use the golden flowers for this one. There's also a cute one here, like, they use, they do the blue flowers here, but they do the yellow flowers here, so it's like, oh, get it? Because they get to now, like, you know, travel, you know, like, you know, cute little Liurnian War shit that I have to include. You also got the yellow flowers at Radican's, you know, fighting thing. Yeah, they definitely use flowers to a certain extent. It's just hard to judge when they're using flowers, where it's like, okay, these flowers are being used because they're like flowers that generally appear in this area. They're being used because these are flowers that are supposed to represent something specific. But there's other flowers that can also be used to represent that thing, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's one of those things where there's very obviously patterns there, but it's not so important, I think, that the devs are like expecting like super profound, meaningful, crazy lore, right? It's more like little things that are like, okay, maybe I can give a token mention to this. Yeah, the way it just kind of floats. Yeah, it makes you wonder. Ah! That's what I get for looking at the chat for 2 seconds! I did not make that curve. Oh, I'm in that's why. I was like, did I really get out of the platform? Alright, is there anything else that I'm missing? Maybe there's some items here that I missed? Yeah, there's one here. I think so. I did find it funny that the actual like the corpse with the actual noble uniform doesn't use the noble corpse. Older Bloom. Yeah, it's not crazy because we just find land sacks, right? And it's connected to the whole ancient dragon cult stuff we find in here in general, like the lightning proof stuff. So it's not that crazy. What are your thoughts on the pink flowers and the woodfolk grows in Dominula? Signs of massacre? I don't think they're signs of massacre. I don't know if I should consider them, though, like, completely, like, natural grown. Like, those are just the flowers that grow in that area, right? And then the village ladies take them and use them, you know, they associate them with their festivals. Or if it's something where, like, you know, the Dominula women planted them themselves and they've, like, gone, you know, wild everywhere. But I don't think it's anything like, blood roses or something like that, right? I don't think it's something like, you know, oh, terrible things have happened here, and therefore, all these flowers have grown or whatever. We definitely see signs, though, of Dominula women taking men, probably, from woodfolk ruins and stuff. Nascent butterfly. Wait, there's no corpse there. Just casual nascent butterfly. Ooh. I guess that makes sense because these are Omen children and these are like eternal. Yeah. Wow. One's not Miquella lore. Don't worry, I'm sure Miquella will find a way to worm his way into this place too. Hey Sub-Zero. Hey Loki, random question. In Bloodborne, after we killed Rom and Spalm and Yahar'gul, it says to seek a nightmare newborn. Is that the one reborn? No, that's Murko. That's referring to Murko. Yeah, I cover one reborn and Murgo and the nightmare newborn and all that stuff in my what are they called? The Scholars of whatever the faction's called. The Mensis Scholars thesis I've done. I forget what the English name is. It's completely School of Mensis, that's what it was. Not Scholars. It's School of Mensis, right? Because they want to make it confusing when they're talking about Byrgenwerth now. Because, like, wait, you mean school? Like, it's an actual school building? It's like, no. They mean, like, you know, like school of thought. You know, like factions type thing. There's the Bloodbud nearby. Wait, there's the actual Bloodbud? Do you mean here? Where is it? It's somewhere around here, right? Or is it over here? Am I crazy, chat? Or did I loot it at some point? I don't remember. Or no, maybe it's down here. Probably. Okay. I'm not crazy. It's over here. Yeah, it's over here. You're right, we do have one of those. I thought there was more, but I guess just the one. In fairness, it is right above Sage's Cave, though. Yeah. I don't think it fell from Gelmir, so I don't think this is supposed to be Red Glintstone. Alright. Does that answer your question, Sub-Zero, or is there anything else that I haven't clarified about that? Because yeah, it's very straight. all the item descriptions and notes and everything, all of them are pointing you, the player, to find, to go after Murgo in the Nightmare of Mensis. Did you ever find all these sacred bone shards in your shaman village that Xavier discovered? We found like 4 of them, which I think is probably as many as there are, because I could not find a 5th one. Like, I went, like, back and forth across that small little circular tableland, and I could not find much more from there, so... If there's, like, another one in some obscure corner of that area or whatever, well, whatever. Also, the Mikla Lily Farm, yeah, there's that over here. But that's not that weird, because, again, this is literally their flower garden. Like, it's literally why it exists, so them trying to grow a bunch of rare flowers does not surprise me. Especially considering that, again, we see the yellow flowers throughout this entire space in front of them. If anything, it would have been cool if they had, like, a bunch of different flowers in, like, rows or something that covered this whole space. Either way, I think that bone thing that Xavier found is probably going to make it into Erdtree's Beginning. I'll probably talk about that in connection to Dominula and stuff. Because it just has to be referenced. It's too specific of a detail to go unreferenced in relation to that, you know? If it was something where, like, every now and then we would find some bones or whatever, then maybe you could make an argument of something, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, they're not that uncommon. But the fact that, like, that entire hinterland has none, and then they're all placed in that one specific spot just outside the village overlooking it. I think that counts as suspicious, you know? I think that counts as evidence at that point. It can't just be brushed off. What are you doing, girl? I will say, I wish there was more, I wish there was more variety to Ancient Dragons, especially the quote-unquote important ones. I do feel bad that Lansax and Fortisax are basically just basic Ancient Dragons with, like, recolor for Fortisax's case. Again, I get why they do it. It's fine, right? But you could say this about a lot of their copy pasting of bosses and stuff like that. I just kind of wish we had a bit more of a unique design. It is what it is. Do you think Trisha is locked up by the other perfumers for trying to heal Misbegotten Omens, or is the Catacomb Clinic just extra secure? Extra secure. No, I think it's just because she's doing the second part of her job. Her experiments failed, and then she gives them their bedside manner and puts them down to rest forever. So yeah, I don't think there's any trapping or anything like, you know, special, like, hiding away or anything like that. I think it's literally just Trisha's doing her job with the Misbegotten, who've recently arrived from Godric's forces. Alright, so that covers pretty much every area, so we got nothing really new that stands out to me where it's like, okay, I can connect this to Highlanders. But we did find some cool stuff still, so there's still some decent lore to be grabbed from this. Let's Sex and Force, sexy and more unique stuff. Modern Dragons get like 7 named guys with unique moves. I actually don't know how many unique moves they get compared to others, because a lot of times it's like, oh wow, it's the Fire Breath attack, but now blue. Wow, right? Like, it's like I'm not gonna pretend like the modern dragons got like super special treatment either, right? Like, a lot of them are just like very simplistic reskins as well. I thought it was Murgo, but am I supposed to take the newborn part literally? When exactly was Murgo born? As I recall, the JP just says baby. It's just a baby. So again, how you want to interpret, you know, how long Murgo has been a baby. I mean, that's for you to decide, especially considering what we learned from defeating Queen Yharnam and stuff. But yeah. If that's what's tripping you up, then don't worry. It's not about, you know, quote-unquote newborn in a literal sense. It's just basically a term that means like a baby, you know, a small child. When exactly was Murgo born? Murgo, I mean, it's probably been a few years since Murgo entered the Nightmare. Yeah. Because this, again, again, the entire Nightmare ritual, them taking Murgo, performing the ritual, all that stuff is happening roughly just before the old Yharnam incident ends with the burning, right? Was she born during the current Mensis ritual we go through in game? Yeah, no, definitely not. Or an older, yeah. Again, I cover this stuff in my, I do cover this stuff in my, School of Mensis thesis, so if you have questions like that, I do recommend giving it a read, because it saves me having to cover that. And then, related articles would probably be good to know, would be, like, Executioners and stuff. It's pretty much just the Glintstone, Exikes, and the Frost one with unique moves. Yeah, I don't think there's that many unique moves, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I agree. I think Landsax and Fortisax could have done with more variety to them. Like, if you didn't name them, I would not have given a second thought to the importance of those dragons. Fortisax, sure, because he got the reskin, and he's like, you know, you have to fight him in the Godwin dimension and stuff like that. But Landsax herself literally got nothing. And like I said, I still think Fortisax could have... I think they could have done a little bit more with the design. Maybe change up the horns or something, you know, like... Just do a little bit more so that they're not, like, all copy-pasted, right? Like, generic dragon's fine. Make him copy-paste if you want. But I felt like they could have done a little bit more. Modern dragons might not get too much variety, but they at least have looks and more than... I will say this, yeah, they do at least get the Fortisax reskin treatment. They do at least get that, but, like, it's still nothing crazy or whatever, right? It's not like every dragon... It's not like, say, Monster Hunter, where even if the enemies have the same... Where even if the dragons have the same skeletons, they have wildly different details of, like, their snouts, or their wings, or the way their legs, are shaped or whatever, or if they have webs or webbed feet or not, or, like, whether their wings are, like, bat, like, or whether they have fur, like... There's a lot more variety in, like, say, a Monster Hunter game between its, like, 5 to 10 different skeleton types for its creatures. And then you get into Elden Ring, and it's like, okay, the exact same dragons, but they're reskinned between regions. And then the exact same ancient dragons, but hey, maybe one or two will have an extra move, and then we'll have Big Boss Fortisax be a reskin. Fortisax only has one unique range. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. And that's I assume that's excluding his wonderful red lightning gimmick. But yeah, okay, I think that covers it all, chat. I think we're done for today. The strongest ancient dragon in the base game with an attack entirely his own goes unnamed. That stings compared to even Grail having an... Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. When you have, like, basically every single dragon getting some name attached to them through Dragon Community and stuff like that, and yet a bunch of the ancient dragons are basically just, you know, generic monsters. Like, they don't even get that much characterization. I agree. It sucks. Hey, though, I do think that's gonna be it, though. Because I think I've covered all the stuff I think I could possibly grab. The other thing I can think of is maybe I should consider if I want to get shots of, like, using Earthshaker and stuff. The problem is I don't want to maybe grab shots of Horlu's Earthshaker, because then we have to go through if I get Godfrey, get his remembrance, or re-get his remembrance through the through the... What are they called? Through the mausoleums. Hello? I think this controller is having a seizure. One sec. Yeah, I'll definitely read those articles once I finish my lore play at BB. Cool. 10-year anniversary thing. Just wanted to ask about some minor doubts I had in the middle. No problem. Force X's lightning bolts hit with a unique pattern, but if I recall correctly, it's the same animation for the lightning call itself. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Calls twice instead of once. Wow, so unique, so amazing. Wow. Alright, yeah, I think that covers it. I've got all the stuff I think I want. The only other thing I could think of is, yeah, getting, like, doing, like, a demonstration thing for the Earthshakers and stuff. But I don't think we need to do it. Maybe in the future, if we fight Godfrey again, I'll get a shot of, like, him as Hoaraloo fighting and stuff. Just because I would like to get shots of that in general. I want to do comparison shots with Ratigan anyway, so getting shots of both of them would be useful in the future. It's actually funny when you look at, like, Ratigan and stuff, and you see he actually does, like, he kind of tries to mimic Godfrey with, like, the stomp and stuff, but he just doesn't have that same power, and then he uses holy power to compensate. Like, you know, it's kind of cute. Random thing, by rediscover Khazar Stormveil Castle, which implies the main gate shape being like the Gate of Divinity, is probably intentional. I mean, I assume it's intentional. I don't think it's an angle thing. Let's actually look. Let's end on that. Actually, I actually think it's probably intentional. Now, is it supposed to be connected to the Gate of Divinity? I don't know. I could definitely. I'd be willing to make the case for that. I'd be willing to make the case for that. Like, let's ignore the accruements and just think of this as them having built a Norman-style castle without any of the extra gold bits at the time, right? Let's just make that assumption for the sake of simplicity. I think just the idea that they had these towers that would stick out from the main gate here, but they would be designed in a way that they would curve in here like that to look like the Gate of Divinity, I could believe that. Especially if, going back to my map, again, forgive me for not putting the BGM back on, but we're about to end it anyway, right? If this is something that, at least with the DLC, was intentional, where Marika's Colosseum, again, because the Colosseums in Stormhill and Caelid, they face the Erdtree. And they were obviously built after the Realm of Shadow became the Realm of Shadow, so, like, they weren't hidden here. But this Colosseum should have been built when Belorat and the tower were still here. So then Marika, it would be having her statue being backdropped not by the Erdtree, like later Colosseums, but they would be oriented to be backdropped by the tower. And if that's the case, then that makes sense, because around the same time that the Colosseum is being built, Stormveil is also being built, and it would also have its main gate being designed as a way to have the tower imagery then, which would make sense in my mind. Because then you'd have this idea where it's like, hey, when you're trying to get through here, you're trying to get through, you know, the domain of God, right? Like, you're trying to cross my path here. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Night. I get what you're trying to say, Night Scout. And I would agree with you. I think that probably it's an intentional design decision. The question is then, is that intentional design decision either at the time or retroactively made to tie into the design of the Gate of Divinity, right? Like that one, that's where you have to make the deductive leap. And I am willing to accept that as a possible scenario. Don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why they would do the double call thing either, but I imagine to give you more time. I think that would probably be the excuse. It's like, hey, here's one roar, here's a second roar, like, here's your cue. You have to try to get as many hits in as possible if you want. That'd be my best guess. Anyway, so yeah, when I'm looking at this, I can definitely see it. You have Marika backdrop by the tower behind her here. And then she uses the tower here, but then eventually, after the Goldmite Queen incident, she's all about hiding this tower. So now she doesn't want the tower to be this, like, big symbolic thing she has, right? So, I would say that probably this thing with Stormveil is probably, like, a leftover, then. Order of Two Flowers, the unfortunate metal nipples on the Banished Knight armor are not to Farm Azul and Belorat's Imperial flower symbolism. Maybe, again, those are small designs, so maybe not. I don't know. The only thing I try to pay a special attention to are, like, the very distinctive, like, you know, the designs that anyone's going to be able to notice, like the dragons and stuff. A lot of the smaller stuff, it could just be for decoration. you know, because it is so small and stuff like that, right? And it's like so numerous. Like the important thing is just to maybe show the ornateness of the armor. But it could be. I mean, at the very least, it doesn't hurt, right? Like having some flower imagery. Like at worst, it's just generic, you know, slop stuff that you do to add decorative flourish. And at best, yeah, it connects into this whole larger cultural idea of like, you know, the Elden Ring being associated with like this blossoming flower of life. I assume just emphasize he's calling Godwyn. Ooh, I would love that to be so for sure. Be like, Godwyn! Godwyn! Where are you? Alright, that's enough. That's enough, chat. I have to end things at some point, right? Alright. Again, not too productive of a stream. I didn't find anything too crazy here. But that's fine. That just tells me that my Highlander stuff is pretty much going to be as complete as it can be. Altus Unification War is going to need... I'm going to have to double check to make sure that's... all those edits I have there are going to be good. And then at some point... Currently I have a note on my Erdtree's beginning thing. So people know that it's in a, less than complete state. But I have no idea if we're going to... How do I put this? I have no idea if, with how it's all set up currently, if I'm going to just, like, you know, have it be this mess for a while, and then over time I'll slowly, like, polish it up or whatever. Which isn't how I usually do things with the website, but for this I might have to make an exception just because it is such a unique case, you know? You know, for real. Oh, God. I don't think. Just in case I want to include these shots. Just in case. Alright. Alright, see you guys later.